Okay, welcome to our tutorial on Pinterest and generating cash using this social networking site. Now, obviously, we're going to assume that you've done a couple of things. Number one, we're going to assume that you have already determined what your offer is going to be and what your market is going to be. Now, if you haven't done those things, you'll obviously need to go ahead and determine them in order to use this video effectively. Now, we are obviously starting with Google Trends. We're not at Pinterest right now. And that's because what we need to do is we need to determine what the interest is or what the relevant keywords are in order to start discussing the things on Pinterest. So we're going to start with Google Trends, and we're going to go into the Explore in Depth page here. And if you're familiar with Google Trends, you definitely want to get as recent as you possibly can. I'm going to say you either want to go with 90 days or 12 months. For this case, let's go with the last 90 days because we want to try to get what is relevant and what's hot. We're going to stay within all categories. And in this particular case, we're going to go ahead and use the web search because we want to determine what people are actually searching for on Google. Now, what we want to do is we want to take our general topic area and our offer, and we want to put that into the search bar here in Trends once we have already narrowed it down. So in this case, let's say that we were going to be talking about low carb dieting. That's what our product is about. And so what we want to do is we want to see, okay, now what is being discussed here when we talk about low carb dieting. And see, that's not what we want. Let's go ahead and type that in again. Low carb dieting. Or Atkins diet, one or the other. Okay, so now what we have here is we've got this chart. That's not really going to help us with Pinterest. We want to take a look and scroll down. Now what we want to do is we want to determine what are some of the search terms, and in particular we want to pay close attention to the rising searches. Now when we take a look at the rising searches, Google is going to tell us those searches that are rising in popularity over the last 90 days. And here are the terms: high protein diet, diet plan, high carb diet, low carb diet. Okay, so all these things are the things that are rising in popularity. We can also take a look at the related searches. That's not going to give us much interest. So we can start with one of these terms in order to start thinking about how we're going to be driving traffic from Pinterest to our offer. Now, the key in Pinterest is that you're going to be using your personal profile in order to drive traffic back to a particular blog where you're going to have your offers. So you want to have a relevant blog with the offer as well as content. The easiest way to set one up is going to be Blogger. Of course, you can use WordPress, but you want to make this appear as much like a blog as you can, and you want to make it appear as personal as you can with a lot of images. And so the easiest way to set one up is going to be to use Blogger.com. Typically, when we're working with internet marketing, we might use WordPress, but in this particular case, we just want people to come back to our blog, see our content, and then click to our ads. And we want to keep this as simple as possible. So you want to make sure that you've got a blog set up. You just click New Blog, and you're going to give your blog a title, and you want to make sure your title is close to whatever your subject matter is. In this case, low carb dieting, and we'll just put that in there. And you'll want to get one. Okay, so that blog address is available. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that we've got content and images on there that are related to that subject. So that's really our starting point. So we determine first, again, we determine what the hot terms are. We want to have some of this content based on these terms on this particular blog, Low Carb Dieting Unplugged. Now what we want to do is get started in Pinterest. Now when we implement this strategy, we're going to be posting as a personal account. Now you can, there are obviously other strategies where you can use a business or you can post as a business. We're not going to be doing branding. We're trying to get people to our page and to our offer as a blogger. So we want to operate as an individual in order to do the things we're going to be talking about in this video. So you want to go ahead, have your profile ready, and then sign up based on a personal profile in Pinterest. Now, when we first start joining Pinterest, we want to start by typing in those hot keywords when Pinterest starts asking us what we're interested in. And we do want to use the search bar. So one of the things we were looking at was high protein, low carb, right? And you'll see that there are recipes, there are breakfasts, there are diets. And so what we're going to be doing in Pinterest, we're going to be joining these boards and we're going to be interacting with the people inside of those boards. So we want to click the first one and get started. Okay, so now we see these profiles, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be zeroing in not only on the image and interacting with, but we're going to also be connecting with the people that are here. So what we want to do is we want to click inside of each one, and we want to then connect with the people. Now we can do that by pinning their images, or we can get started by following some of these people. So as we get through the tour, we want to do these based on the interest of our hot keywords from Google Trends. And then as we get there, what's going to happen is we're going to develop a list of boards and a list of interest as we go. So now what we want to do inside of our profile now is we want to start creating our own boards. And we're going to start creating our boards once again based on our high traffic keywords. Now, once again, remember the logic. What we're trying to do is we're trying to attract people back to our website where they're going to see our offer, our related offers. So our board's going to be here, high protein, low carb diet, maybe not low carb diet, but low carb recipes. Right? Because remember, our offer is related to high protein, low carb information products. So what we're going to do here, when we write our description, we want to write our description with those keywords. We don't want to stuff those keywords, but we want to make sure that all of our boards are based on keywords and that they're based in order to attract people. When we start talking about our category, we want to make sure our category, in this case, our category would be food and drink. Do we want to add a map? No. Do we want to keep it a secret? No. And so we're going to be creating boards based on our keywords. Right? That is what we are trying to do. Now, remember, the key here is two things. Number one, that you are looking at hot keywords. And number two, that you already have content on your blog based on those hot keywords. So now what are you going to do? You are going to go to Pinterest and you're going to add and upload a pin. Now these pins can be based on your board, the boards that you should be creating based on your keywords, and your pins that you're going to be uploading should either be an image or they can be a video of the actual subject matter. So we should be choosing some images on our computer, or we can repin some of those that we see on the board. Now in this particular case, what we're going to do is we're going to look for an image on our hard drive. Now you may be asking, now what images are we going to be using? We're going to be using images based on our subject matter. So in this particular case, I would be looking for images that take pictures of low carb meals and low carb recipes. Now if you don't have those pictures, you can either take them yourself or you can get them from royalty-free image websites and image collections. Now, when you create these images, you have to create them so that they attract people to either repin your image or to connect with you. That is really the gist of it. There is no secret to getting people back to your website on Pinterest. It is getting people interested in your images based on the hot subject matter and having them repin it and click back to your website. So in this particular case, I'm just going to upload an image and I'm going to show you what you're going to do with the actual link from your website so that you'll know how to place it so that people actually click on it. Now, when we upload our images, what we want to do is we want to create our boards. Okay, based on the keywords. And when we write our description, we want to make sure that our descriptions are once again written based on the keywords. So in this particular case, we want to make sure our description is written about high protein and low carb recipes. Now, I'm not going to take time to write that out in this particular case. And obviously, this is not a picture of a low carb recipe, but for the sake of example, this is what we're using, and we're just going to upload that there. Okay, so now once we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to go back now and edit that picture. And what we want to do is we want to put a source in there. Now, when we enter the source is going to be our website. And the source in particular is going to be our landing page. Now, you want to have that page to be one where you are actually pre-selling someone on your offer. You don't want to put a direct affiliate link inside of Pinterest. Once again, now, at this particular time, they are starting to crack down on those kinds of links. You want to make sure that you're taking people back to your website where you're going to pre-sell them on your offer. So in this particular case, you're going to get a link with an article from your blogger blog, and you want to put it inside of the source. Now that, again, that should lead back to a page where you are pre-selling. So in this case, I'm just going to grab a link here. And we want to put that link inside of Pinterest, and we want to save our changes. Okay, so now what's going to happen is when someone gets interested in this within this image, if they want to find out more, they're going to click on our link, and then that's where we're going to be taking them back to a specific page on our site. Now, once again, you can either have your offer on that page. I would suggest that you have a page on there that's going to get them interested in another page where your offer actually is. So now once you have relevant images about your subject matter, what you're going to do then is you're going to start looking for people who are interested in those subjects. So once again, you're going to start looking for your subject and you're going to search for it. Now, once you find and Pinterest starts giving you some of these people that are interested in these things, what you're going to do is you're going to connect with these people and start following their boards. Obviously, you can follow this person's board and you can follow this person, which is really what you want to do, because ultimately what you want to do, and it works like any other social network, is you want them to follow you back. You can follow their boards and send your profile so that they can follow you. So what you are doing is you're connecting with people who are going to be interested in all of your basic keywords, and you're building content, building a following, and building interested people. What you're doing is once you have those people is posting images of your hot keywords. So you want to continue this cycle of being consistent of posting images, following people, and getting them interested in your images and getting them to click back to your website. Now, Pinterest is probably the highest driver of traffic to blogs of all the social networks. So people on these sites are interested. The second thing that you'll want to know is that 80% of the people on Pinterest are women. So you want to gear your images that would be more acceptable and more interesting to women. It doesn't mean that men are not on there, but women are the dominant force on Pinterest. Now, everything on Pinterest that you're going to be doing is going to be based on the content you have on your site. Now, ultimately, your job is to get people to interested in your profile and clicking back to your site. You do not want to direct link from Pinterest. You want to get them interested in going back to your site. So the consistent cycle of posting your own image, following people who are interested, and getting them interested in your images and following theirs is something that you're going to have to be consistent in order to get them back to your site. Now, I hope that this has been helpful for you in getting started in generating cash on Pinterest. I want you to look right below, and I have a very special offer for you. So go ahead and get started by looking below.